Once again, this is another episode of the I'm Not a Hater podcast featuring your favorite not hater, Mr. BORWN, Mr. Brown. Today, I'm going to be talking about my influences as far as it goes when handling family dynamics and just life in general, what I've learned over the years and who I've learned it from. Um, and basically, that's basically it. Before I get started, though, I want to say I appreciate everybody that's been liking, sharing, promoting the podcast. I definitely appreciate it. Showing me love on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, what have you. Definitely from the bottom of my heart. Definitely appreciative of it. It allows me to, have the motivation to keep going, keep giving you these episodes just like this one. Um, so yeah, getting started. Again, this is about my influences, who I learned it from, where I learned it from, and how I've, used these things over time. So basically, my influences or my ideal system is basically made up of two gentlemen that I learned and I've known very well during my lifetime, right? It's their advice along with others, right? That has helped me become the person that I am to this very point at this point in my life when it comes to family dynamics and just life in general. And those gentlemen are Willie Burgess and Gary Wright. Um, Both of these gentlemen are no longer on the earth, but their influence still remains a strong force, and I see it in how I handle things at times. They stayed cool under pressure, and they handled everything with a different type of style and grace, one would say. And even if the problem was a struggle, like you never saw them sweat. They just made sure the job got done. But I'll get into that in these few examples that they gave me over the years. So the first example that they gave me was simply put, go to work. And this is an easy one, right? So they both instilled this in me. My grandfather taught me that you get a job, you work hard at it, you go there early. That's basically his definition of being on time, and you do the best that you can while you're at that job. Gary taught me this definition of hard work too, with his phrase for he'll work time, overtime, uptime, downtime, anytime, and whatever they gave him, he was going to work. And rarely did he ever take a day off either. So when it came to me, I basically just adapted the same thing. Like I get to work early, right? I show up early. I work hard while I'm there, and I rarely take any days off. Pretty much, over the past, I'd say, couple years, excluding the time, dealing with, of course, my mom's, passing. Probably only taking like 2 days off, right? So I'm always at work, but it's always for a good reason, right? And we'll get into that with the next point. Um, so the next thing that they both taught me was to take care of the family. So you work all these hours and, probably hardly ever around, or if you are around, you know, you coming in late, you missing certain things, but it's all for a good point, right? You working hard for your family. At one point, like, you know, to go into it, right? I was working two jobs. So there was some days when I wasn't around, but it was for a good cause. Like I wasn't just doing it selfishly. I was doing it for the betterment of my family. Um and just like them, their wives knew that, the men were going to make the money and that things were going to be taken care of. Now, I definitely try to follow this example that they gave me. I do have my bumps in the road, admittedly, right? I'm getting better, but um, being family first, right? Sometimes you spread yourself too thin. I'm not gonna sit here and act like I don't. Sometimes you spread yourself too thin. You make too many promises. You promise, one person you're gonna handle this, and sometimes, money get a little crazy. But you manage, over time, right? I've adapted and learned that, you could tell them it's okay to tell them no, and at the moment, but you'll make sure that they get whatever they need, right? It's okay. And I had to learn how to be okay with that. But I learned from these two guys, right? No didn't mean like no forever, it just meant no in that moment. And then you go out and you make whatever they need, whatever your family needs, you go out and make it happen. Um, you know, and you provide for them. And being able to provide and teamwork with your spouse, whatever it took. Like, um, I take pride in being able to provide for my family and give them, certain things that I may not have had at that point in time. And that's honestly what, motivates me at this point in my life. Um, and so, you just basically you try to provide and do the best that you can for them, and hopefully they appreciate it. I know that, my family appreciated my grandfather doing what he had to do, and I'm quite sure that Gary's family appreciated everything that he did for them, even if at the time, um, even at the time we always didn't say it, but we appreciate it now that they're no longer here. But and that's like one of the hard things. Like sometimes you work and you do all of that and you don't feel the appreciation, but it's there because like if you didn't go out and work hard for it, they wouldn't have it. So they appreciate it. And sometimes you want to hear it. You may not always hear it, but you just got to keep in the back of your mind, like, you know, hey, it's okay. Like I know they're taken care of, so that's where I get my joy and my satisfaction, knowing that their needs are met and handled, right? So the final thing that they taught me was to lead by example, right? So neither man was like a loud yelling type of person. They basically led by their example, doing the best that they could to show the next generation the way. And I like to think, by some estimation, that I'm doing the same when it comes to my own sons, right? Showing hard work, you could be kind-hearted, you have your intelligence, and making sure that everybody's always taken care of. Their example, along with their words, is something that I constantly remember daily, okay? And it helped me become a good family man and a father, in my opinion. I'm not the best, but I try to do the best that I can. And try to use these examples on a daily basis. These examples, along with living examples now with my dad and my uncles and male figures in the community, have made me into the guy that you see in front of you today. It's my hope that my two sons eventually will learn from these examples and become greater than me one day, because that's really what it's all about, right? The next generation takes it further than this current generation, and we took it further than the last one. um it's always about getting better and doing better, and I feel like these three things, along with the many other things that they told me over the years, um have helped me become who I am right now. And like I said before, I'm not perfect by a long shot. Still have to get better in certain areas, but I feel like I'm on the right track thanks to these gentlemen. They gave me tools and things that I could learn from years to come, and I hope that I can impart just half of maybe the wisdom that they gave me. I can impart it on my two sons, and they can grow and become hopefully become dads one day in their own estimation, or their own right, I should say, or their own time, really. Once again, that's all I really have to say. I appreciate everybody for tuning in, checking this out, giving it a listen if you do. Um, and that's pretty much it, man. Thanks for tuning in as always. This favorite not hater here, dropping some more jewels for your everyday life. Peace and love. I'm out.